Mr. President, you've called for more transparency and standardization of accounting standards and recording requirements across the board for local public sector plans. Break that down for us and tell us why that's important.
Well, here's why it's important. It's important because what the Speaker said about the predictability of our liabilities as taxpayers and the surety that employees will have a pension to rely upon that's honestly funded goes to the local level as well. The Collins Center, which is a nonprofit, nonpartisan group, recently put out a report saying that in our local municipal and county pension plans, only about 30% of the dollars that are necessary for the municipal plans are actually being contributed, and only about 40% at the county level, leaving us with about a $10 billion unfunded deficit liability in local pension plans. That's our firefighters, our policemen. That's people who provide our city services and our county services who think there's going to be a pension for them. We need to make sure that we strengthen our pension programs in the way the Speaker's talking about so that there's really a retirement for them. So we think that there ought to be public disclosure of where those pension programs are. There ought to be a standard of solvency that's a national standard applied to our local pension plans. And we think that the people who are responsible ultimately for funding them ought to know where they are so that they can bring the appropriate kind of persuasion to bear on local officials to do what the Speaker and I want to do at the state level, and that's make sure that our retirement benefits for our employees are secure and honestly reported.
So what you're saying, if I hear you correctly, is that there are a lot of unknowns about what are in some of those funds right now.
There are a lot of unknowns, but the one known is that we're underfunding the defined benefit plans at the state level and at the local level, and that's really writing a check that we don't have funds to cover, and people who are out there serving our community and our state are counting on a retirement that they might not get. And the only bailout that's happening in these other big states, as the Speaker mentioned, was to raise taxes to fund those pensions. We don't want to do that to the taxpayers. We sure don't want to do that to municipal and county and state workers.
That's one I haven't heard. I don't know if the state employees have heard that either.